we do get dynasties emerging in the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms. So evidently, the family that you're born into matters a lot. And this is borne out as well by the use of what we call genealogies that survive, where it's you need to be able to show that you are of the right bloodlines in order to have the right to rule. So often at moments of dynastic change, the new dynasty will come in, and in the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle or some other source, there's a genealogy is put in to demonstrate the veracity of their claim back to these historical and kind of semi-mythical ancestors as well. And indeed, some of those mythical ancestors, semi-mythical ancestors, include people like Woden, so going back to those Germanic gods, hoovering them up. They then end up back in Adam as well. So but they it's important to show ancestry back to those to legitimize your right to rule. So bloodlines matter, but it is comparatively unusual for a son to succeed a father. Yeah, it's more to do with family connections. It does happen, and sometimes it happens in periods of dynastic strength, and through into the 10th century, increasingly you get fathers succeeding to sons. But that, I wouldn't have said that's not the norm. Brute force military might, they're war leaders. You have to be able to lead a king. A king has to be able to lead in battle. Even our most erudite Anglo-Saxon king Alfred, had to be able to lead his troops into battle or to be able to command. His legacy is one both of defeating the Vikings, but also consolidating and in many ways creating the English language as a literary language. But even Alfred, as I say, had to be an effective war leader. You also had to be a politician alongside being an effective war leader, because there's always somebody standing in the wings waiting to wait for that weak moment and wait for the opportunity to take power. So through the 8th century, there are a series of extremely powerful kings of Mercia, both Athelbald and then King Offa. But both of them come to power at a time of flux and change and dynastic change. And Athelbald is murdered eventually. They're very long-lived kings. I always think long-lived kings demonstrates that they must be doing something right during their rules. But Athelbald comes unstuck at the end and is murdered. Offa unusually manages to pass his crown on to his son, but his son survives him by a matter of 141 days. And then there are these cryptic comments about his death and whether he died because of the sins of his father, which rather suggests that this might not have been a natural death. So it's a combination of all three: brute force, bloodlines, and political agility.